Welcome back to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the law of criminal procedure, and specifically, we're focusing on a concept that's absolutely central to a functioning justice system: your right to liberty. We're going to unpack bail as a matter of right, discretionary bail, anticipatory bail, and the vital role of bonds and sureties. Understanding your fundamental rights under the law is incredibly empowering, and knowing how these mechanisms actually work in the real world is essential. So let's get right into it.
Here's our agenda for today. First, we'll cover the distinction between bailable and non-bailable offenses. Second, anticipatory bail under the BNSS. And third, bonds and sureties.
All right, Section 1, the distinction between bailable and non-bailable offenses, and protecting the balance of justice. Let's first address the core concept here. What is it, and why does it actually matter? Well, whenever we talk about criminal procedure, we're always trying to find that perfect equilibrium between the power of the state to investigate a crime and the fundamental freedom of the individual.
In our procedural structure, we separate offenses specifically to protect that balance of justice. Now, for bailable offenses, which are usually your less severe crimes, bail is a matter of absolute right. You literally cannot be arbitrarily detained. The police or the court must release you upon the provision of bail. But for non-bailable offenses, the power dynamics shift significantly. Here, bail becomes discretionary. The judge actually has to step in, weigh the gravity of the accusation, assess the risk of the accused fleeing, and really examine all the surrounding circumstances before deciding if you can go free pending trial. It's the difference between an automatic guarantee and a heavily scrutinized judicial decision.
Under the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita 2023, or BNSS for short, these procedural rights and duties are designed to be explicitly clear and transparent. By clearly demarcating these categories of offenses right in the legal code, the law removes arbitrary police discretion. It ensures that citizens have explicit procedural rights, so you know exactly when you can confidently demand release as a matter of right versus when you've got to formally petition the court to exercise its discretion.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anticipatory Bail under the BNSS, looking at the procedural execution workflow. This is a truly fascinating mechanism designed specifically for proactive protection against unwarranted arrest.
So let's walk through how this process actually unfolds in practice. Step 1 involves initiating the mechanism. This happens when a person has a reasonable apprehension of being arrested on false or frivolous accusations for a non-bailable offense. That prompts them to formally apply to the court before an arrest even occurs. Step 2 is validation and verification. The court rigorously evaluates the grounds, looking really closely at the applicant's antecedents, their history, and the specific nature and gravity of the accusation. Finally, Step 3 is closure. Based entirely on that rigorous verification, anticipatory protection is either denied or it's granted with specific, strict conditions attached, like cooperating with the investigation and not leaving the country. Now, a critical pitfall to avoid here is confusing the old Code of Criminal Procedure provisions with the updated BNSS mandates. The section numbers, the specific operational guidelines, and even procedural timelines have changed. Precision is absolutely everything when navigating this updated code. Whether you're a legal professional formulating a defense or a citizen seeking to understand and protect your own rights, you really have to get this right.
And that brings us to Section 3, our final core concept: bonds and sureties. If bail is the legal permission to be released from custody, well, bonds and sureties are the financial and personal guarantees that ensure you actually show up to court when required. Think of a bond as your personal, signed promise to appear. A surety, on the other hand, is when someone else steps in to vouch for you. They're effectively stating, hey, I guarantee this person will be at the trial and I will stake my own assets on it if they fail to appear.
To bring this all together, we've mapped out the legal requirements separating absolute rights in bailable offenses from discretionary decisions in non-bailable ones. We've seen the practical application of proactively filing for anticipatory bail to prevent unwarranted arrests, and we've established the key safeguards provided by bonds and sureties that keep the entire justice system functioning smoothly. Keeping these three pillars in mind ensures you fully grasp the mechanics of liberty under the law.
The right to liberty is intricately structured, deeply balanced, and completely codified in our new procedural laws. But it leaves you wondering, exactly how do these paper rights and procedural guarantees hold up under the immense pressure of an actual live trial? Well, in our next explainer, we're going to continue this journey by exploring the trial phase of criminal procedure. Thank you so much for studying with me. Namaste.